Hello everyone, this is Ielts reading, section 1, Bakelite. First of all, I'll read the complete passage. Then we will discuss the answers. In 1970, Leo Hendrik Bakelite, a Belgian scientist working in New York, discovered and patented a revolutionary new synthetic material. His invention, which he named Bakelite, was of enormous technological importance and effectively launched the modern plastic industry. The term plastic comes from the Greek plastian, meaning to mold. Some plastics are derived from natural sources, some are semi-synthetic, the result of chemical action on a natural substance, and some are entirely synthetic, that is chemically engineered from the constituents of coal or oil. Some are thermoplastic, which means that, like candle wax, they melt when heated and can then be reshaped. Others are thermosetting, like eggs. They cannot revert to their original viscous state, and the shape is thus fixed forever. Bakelite had the distinction of being the first totally synthetic thermosetting plastic. The history of today's plastic begins with the discovery of a series of semi-synthetic thermoplastic materials in the mid-19th century. The impetus behind the development of these early plastics was generated by a number of factors: immense technological progress in the domain of chemistry, coupled with wider cultural changes, and the pragmatic need to find acceptable substitutes for dwindling supplies of luxury materials such as tortoise shell and ivory. Bakelite's interest in plastics began in 1885 when, as a young chemistry student in Belgium, he embarked on research into phenolic resins, the group of sticky substances produced when phenol carbolic acid combines with an aldehyde, a volatile fluid similar to alcohol. He soon abandoned the subject, however, only returning to it some years later. By 1905, he was a wealthy new worker, having recently made his fortune with the invention of a new photographic paper. While Bakelite had been busily amassing dollars, some advances had been made in the development of plastics. The year 1899 and 1900 had seen the patenting of the first semi-synthetic thermosetting material that could be manufactured on an industrial scale. In purely scientific terms, Bakelite's major contribution to the field is not so much the actual discovery of the material to which he gave his name, but rather the method by which a reaction between phenol and formaldehyde could be controlled, thus making possible its preparation on a commercial basis. On July 13, 1907, Bakelite took out his famous patent describing this preparation, the essential features of which are still in use today. The original patent outlined a three-stage process in which phenol and formaldehyde from wood or coal were initially combined under vacuum inside a large egg-shaped kettle. The result was a resin known as novalac, which became soluble and malleable when heated. The region was allowed to cool in shallow trays until it hardened and then broken up and ground into powder. Other substances were then introduced, including fillers such as wood flour, asbestos, or cotton, which increased strength and moisture resistance. Catalysts, substances to speed up the reaction between two chemicals without joining to either. And hexa, a compound of ammonia and formaldehyde, supplied the additional formaldehyde necessary to form a thermosetting resin. This resin was then left to cool and harden and ground up a second time. The resulting granular powder was raw bakelite, ready to be made into vast range of manufactured objects. In the last stage, the heated bakelite was poured into a hollow mold of the required shape and subjected to extreme heat and pressure, thereby setting its form for life. The design of bakelite objects, everything from earrings to television sets, was governed to a large extent by the technical requirements of the molding process. The object could not be designed so that it was locked into the mold and therefore difficult to extract. A common general rule was that objects should taper towards the deepest part of the mold, and if necessary, the product was molded with separate pieces. Molds had to be carefully designed so that the molten bakelite would flow evenly and completely into the mold. Sharp corners proved impractical and were thus avoided, giving rise to the smooth, streamlined style popular in the 1930s. The thickness of the walls of the mold was also crucial. Thick walls took longer to cool and harden, a factor which had to be considered by the designer in order to make the most efficient use of machines. Bakelite's invention, although treated with disdain in its early years, went on to enjoy an unparalleled popularity which lasted throughout the first half of the 20th century. It became the wonder product of the new world of industrial expansion. The material of 1,000 uses, being both non-porous and heat-resistant. Bakelite kitchen goods were promoted as being germ-free and sterilizable. Electrical manufacturers seized on its insulating properties, and consumers everywhere relished its dazzling array of shades, delighted that they were now at last no longer restricted to the wood tones and drab browns of the pre-plastic era. It then fell from favor again during the 1950s and was despised and destroyed in vast quantities recently. However, it has been experiencing something of a renaissance with renewed demand for original bakelite objects in the collector's marketplace and museum societies and dedicated individuals once again appreciating the style and originality of this innovative material. This is the end of the passage. Let's go through these questions. Please go through these questions. Complete the summary. Choose one word only from the passage for each answer. Write your answers in the boxes 1 to 3 on your answer sheet. Question number 4 to 8. Complete the flow chart. Choose one word only from the passage for each answer. Write your answers in the boxes 4 to 8 on your answer sheet. This is the product of Bakelite. Question number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Questions 9 to 10. Write your answers in the boxes 9 and 10. On your answer sheet, your answers may be given in either order. Which two of the following factors influence the design of Bakelite objects are mentioned in the text? This is called pick from list. 11 to 13. Do the following statements agree with the information given in the reading passage? And for question number 11 to 13, right? True if the statement agrees with information, false if the statement contradicts the information not given, if there is no information on this statement. 11, 12, and 13. Let's discuss these questions. Question number 1, candle wax. Second paragraph, third sentence. Plastic is compared to wax, both becoming soft when treated with high temperature. Question number 2, synthetic. Last sentence of second paragraph entirely is a paraphrase totally from the text, which makes it more difficult to find when using keywords. Chemistry. Question number 3, chemistry. Paragraph 3, second sentence. Advances in the field of chemistry promoted the progress of plastic industry. Question number 4, Novolac. Paragraph 5, sentence number 2, reason is hard to paraphrase, which makes it an excellent keyword. Pay attention to spelling. Novolac should be capitalized like in the text. A lack of capitalization will be seen as a mistake. Note that the previous paragraph can be skipped as it is about the history of Bakelite, which we do not need. Remember that the answers in the next text follow one another, meaning that you will not have to return to the paragraph. Fillets. 5 fillets. Paragraph 5, fourth sentence. The words in brackets in the diagram are examples of the skipped word. Question number 6, hexa. Same sentence. The second part of it, a compound, ammonia and formaldehyde is what makes up this material according to the text. You mix them and you get hexa. It fits the diagram. Question number 7, raw. Paragraph 5, sentence 6. Bakelite is capitalized in the text, so it is pretty easy to find as a keyword. Question number 8, pressure. Last sentence of paragraph 5. Heat and pressure are applied during the last stage of this process. Note how passive voice is used in the context. The material is subjected to heat and pressure. Question number 9 and 10, B and C, in either order. C is found in the second sentence of the paragraph 6. Negative phrasing is used, which can make it more difficult to notice. B is same paragraph. Sentence 4, facility in this answer means ease, readiness, lack of any obstacles. A and D are not mentioned. E is mentioned, however, it is the form of Bakelite. Objects that made the style fashioned rather than the objects trying to follow this established trend. 11, true. This is a very rare example when you have to go back in the text to answer this. Paragraph 4, last sentence, the essential features are still in use today. Using the date as keyword would help to find the answer quickly. 12, false. Paragraph 7, first sentence, treated with disdain means that it wasn't welcomed. The opposite of the question statement is correct. So the answer is false. 13th, false. Paragraph 7, sentence number 4, dazzling array of shades, no longer restricted to drab browns, means that the opposite is true. The material was available in very wide selection of colors. Thank you very much for listening.